I say right foot creep, oh, I'm walking with that heater. Look around, stay low, make sure they don't see you. Catch them bad, walk down, face them with the heater. The devil under your feature on your way to see me. Stretch me when I can't sleep, bang on when I see you. Play with me, you can't sleep. We gun into the sea shoe. You won't have no case rearrange your shit soon as they face you. You won't have no space, we in your section till we spray you. Show man song, they coming off. Soon as they close the door, we just gon' walk down. They said we did wrong, cause we knocked him off. But he who got Cadillac and tell that bitch that that's his fault. If we join on, cause get let off. And all them clowns, including the spouse. Keep that blick inside my drawers. Every time I walk the dog, I work for Tim and Soul Cities. You throw a diss and you
yeah,
get
buddy.
cross my name up, ain't no talk. If they had a crank out at the store from my pop, I window. I can see a spot, but I ain't seen that since Jordan Dixon made some talk.
Welcome, ladies and germs. Week 13 in the books. Let's go. That was for you, Dre. Whoo, buddy. What a week. What a roller coaster of a week. Oh man, there were so many ups, there were so many downs. It was nerve-wracking. This is essential. This is playoff football. We're pretty much already in it. Not really, but almost. Oh, a lot of good matchups. Some unfortunate injuries. You know, I'm very happy about my win, but at the same point, you hate to win that way. Like, it's like when the who was it? Yeah, it was the Eagles versus the Niners when Brock Purdy went out, and then their backup quarterback went out, and it's like Eagles won, but it was like, you know, what if? I feel like it's just kind of the same thing with Mr. Organic. What if? What if Christian McCaffrey stayed in? Chances are that he looked good. He looked like he was the workhorse, the bell cow. And I was sitting there, I'm thinking, dang, this guy's got Mike Evans. This guy's got Achane. This guy's got Kamara. And this guy's got Christian McCaffrey. And he looked like he was vintage Christian McCaffrey. And it was scary. It was, as the receiver, very scary. And as, like, someone going into the playoffs, like, someone's got to beat this guy. And, unfortunate it happened. But that's football. That's football. Injuries happen. You just got to roll with the punches. And poor Mr. Organic has been rolling with the punches. Like, imagine this team. He's got Lamar Jackson, who's probably going to get another MVP. Mike Evans. If Rashee Rice is healthy, Christian McCaffrey healthy, he's got Kamara, Achane, no one's beating that team. No one. No one's beating that team. So, kudos to a really good team that definitely could have been and still is a good team. But now there's some adjustments that need to be made. So, hopefully Dre can do that and keep moving forward. Yeah, let's just dive right into it. I don't really have a game plan, but I feel like there's so much to go over that, I don't feel like I need a game plan for this week. So, Austin with the win over Whitney. This one was interesting in the fact that Whitney started Brock Purdy, which I feel like if you know it's a snow game, don't put your quarterback in. Unless your quarterback is Josh Allen, who plays in the snow naturally and has played in the snow in his college career, don't put Brock Purdy. Like, don't do a snow game. Brock Purdy, 2 points. But alternative, like, if it's me, I got Brock Purdy. I know it's a snow game. I'm pivoting. I'm doing any other quarterback that I have. Only other quarterback, Caleb Williams, 26 points. So you had 24 points onto this score, and it's still not quite there. Another questionable, I don't know. It just seems like Pacheco's not fully in it yet. This one I guess I don't disagree with. I might have probably gone with Pacheco over frickin' Jerry Judy absolutely going off. So, you know, sometimes I'm toxic in the fact that I look at my bench, I'm like, man, if I could have just started this guy and this guy, Whitney, if you could have started the right two people, boom, Austin going down to 8-5, I would have been one happy camper. But that's not the case. That's all right. Austin with another win keeps his first place. Hopefully not for too much longer. This last week is going to determine a lot of seeding. So that was a pretty good matchup. I think that could have been a lot closer than what it was. And then I'll go over that matchup last. But you've got Sloppy Poppy pulling out the win, a must win. Who did he have? He had someone that went off, I thought. Denver going off, that helped, but it didn't matter. I mean, you could have taken out a couple players and you're still going to beat poor Eddie's just having a rough year. Like I said, I think Eddie's 1 year early. I think next year, you look at this team, I think it's a good team. It's just not clicking right now. Marvin Harrison, just not. I think it's just a year early. I'm going to leave it at that. I think I've talked about that enough. So Eric with a nice win. We've got Mr. Dre Campbell keeping that winning streak alive, staying on my heels. Was really hoping for a loss on Mr. Drake. And, oh, by the way, y'all can suck it. Group chat, everyone, I hope CMC goes off. You know, I touched on it at the beginning of the podcast. You don't want CMC going off. You want CMC to stay, like, never. Big proponent. It is just a game. I love fantasy football. I want to win, but it's just a game. Do not hope for injuries. But Christian McCaffrey was really not going off very much. And prior to this game, prior to like his snaps, and last game, yeah, they had a backup quarterback, but it still looked like he was kind of easing himself in. You guys did not want Christian McCaffrey going off. Because if he did, that's the scariest three-headed monster in the league. Those three running backs, Kamara, especially with Hill going out, and I'm happy that I grabbed Njoku before he went off, because I think Drake could be a sneaky, scary team. But if Christian McCaffrey goes off, you don't want that team. You don't want that team going off in the playoffs with a high seed, with easier matchups, potentially getting a first-round bye. Very slim chances, but still there's chances. Like, y'all were rooting for CMC to go off, but that was the wrong thing. But it didn't work. So, up all yours. All those haters in the chat, that was for you. Anyway, back to it. Mr. Dre Campbell himself, with another solid win, another high score, I was trying to possibly gain some points. I think I gained 2 points. Even with Cooper Kupp going off, Jaden Daniels is just an absolute beast. I think he got all of his points in the first half. Brock Bowers continues to be an absolute beast on a terrible team. Derrick Henry had a bad game. Like, that's the scary thing, is this team had one of the highest scores and didn't even have that good of a week. Cooper Kupp, 3.2 points. Like, that's a bad week. Amon-Ra St. Brown, under 10 points. That's a bad week. Derrick Henry, 12 points. That's a bad week. Like, everything kind of went wrong for him, and he still went off. Like, this is a scary team. This is a scary team going into the playoffs, who, congratulations, secured officially. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind that you weren't making playoffs, but officially secured a spot. So, good job, Drake Campbell. Hope you lose, though, this next week. Let's see here. Let's go back here. And then the matchup between... Okay, so this was a roller coaster. I don't like to usually talk about myself or my matchups, but I'm going... Because this was a complete roller coaster. I mean, I had my... I had the first. I'm really kind of contemplating on Neighbors. He's not been good. I mean, he's been good, but his team's just not good. They were feeding him the ball. I like that. So we'll see. We'll see if that continues. But after the first slate of games, Kyler Murray not really like 17 points, man, decent week. But my projection's looking pretty bad. You go into this. Oh, and then you got Jamar Chase, and I'm needing points. I mean, at the end of the first slate of games, those 11 or 10 o'clock your guys' time games, at the end of those, I'm down. Like projections wise, I'm down, and I need some points. Jamar Chase gets the ball, one of the fastest players in the league, rushing down for the end zone. Boom, knocked down the 2-yard line. Oh man, I was so pissed. And then someone else got the touchdown, and then they couldn't stop Pittsburgh, and so then Cincinnati couldn't even get a chance to get the ball back. That was frustrating. And so I'm like, shoot, man, this is not looking like a good week. I mean, I've got Jefferson that had 13, Neighbors, like Chase had a good week. But other than that, like no one's really going off for me, and I'm counting on Bucky Irving, who's essentially, I mean, he might be one on the depth chart, but he's still a rookie. And then James Cook, who's been getting vultured, and going against San Francisco, who has a good defense. And then, so then the second slate of games are going. You got Lamar Jackson, who's doing absolutely terrible, and I'm like, all right, cool, like I've got a chance here. Oh, first of all, Mike Evans, Bucky Irving had a clear shot at the very first drive to get a touchdown, and his blocker goes the completely wrong way and just completely botches it for Bucky Irving. So then Bucky Irving gets sidelined, and then next play Mike Evans gets the touchdown. So I was like, man, Bucky Irving should have had that touchdown, not Mike Evans. So I'm just like salty there, but then I'm like, okay, Lamar Jackson's not scoring really anything. And Alvin Kamara's, he's doing not very good for Alvin Kamara. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I've got a chance. And then the last drive, garbage time, complete garbage time. Baltimore's down by 2 scores. There's a minute left. I think in the last minute, Lamar Jackson scored 10 points. And then now, like, the projections are, like, completely lopsided the other side. But then Bucky Irving starts going off. I'm like, oh, man, okay. But then Mike Evans is getting touchdown or getting catches in overtime. And it's like, it was just such a roller coaster. And then Christian McCaffrey comes out, and he's looking really good. I'm like, oh, shit, this is not looking to be a good week. And they're stopping James Cook. The other guy for Bills, he's getting vulturing James Cook touchdowns. And I'm just like, over here just sweating and an emotional blender. I'm out at dinner with friends. I can't even focus on dinner because I'm wanting to win. Oh, but Christian McCaffrey goes down. It is a real bummer. Hate to win like this, but I'll take it. Honestly, I'll take it. And I think the snowy game also helped with Shakir. So I already said it. Tough loss for Dre, but I'll take it, honestly. I'll just take it. Couldn't even catch up on points on Austin. Was trying to hopefully catch up some points, trying to like catch up half this week and then half the next week, but does not look like that's going to be the case. So I'm going to need a win if I want, or Dre Campbell to lose if I want a first round bye. But matchup of the week, I would say, is Brian versus Nate. And you're looking at this, and if I'm Nate, and I was thinking last night, I thought about this last night after the first drive. I'm watching the game, and I'm like, if my opponent has the number one, my QB's number one option, and I think, yeah, you're pretty, like, it was about 3-point difference, and I need to score more. Like, Bo Nix has been doing good, and he's been rushing good. I would have pivoted to Jameis Winston. I would have been like, I don't know. But that's a really tough situation because you got someone, Mr. Reliable Bo Nix, versus Jameis Winston. I mean, I don't know. I got my thoughts. I think if it was me, I would have just risked it. I would have kind of gone for broke, and it's hard. It's like matchup this next week. I'm not very happy about going against Joe Burrow, but I've got Joe Burrow's number one option, so that helps. That helps me and my peace of mind. So that's a tough loss. Nate is eliminated. There is no chance for Nate to make playoffs. Nate has officially been eliminated. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Oh, Nelly. That sucks. So, Nate's eliminated. Nate is missing playoffs. But what I would really be pissed off, if I was Nate, I wouldn't even be pissed off about, like, Bo Nix not putting up the amount of points that he has been. I wouldn't be pissed that DK Metcalf maybe didn't have a good day. I wouldn't be pissed that George Kittle had a snow game. If not, he probably would have went off. What I would be pissed off about is Josh Allen on his throw to Amari Cooper. It got lateraled back to him, and then he got a touchdown. He got a passing and a receiving touchdown. To me, that's bullshit. He should not be getting... receiving and rushing, I feel like that's a rushing touchdown. You had someone lateral it to you, so you're rushing. Like, no one passed it to you. So, to me, it's rushing. But rushing and receiving, same amount. It's 6 points either way. But passing is 4 points. So, if you get passing and a receiving touchdown, I don't think that counts as a passing touchdown. So, that's 4 points, which is the difference maker in Nate losing. To me, Nate got shafted. Nate completely got shafted here. But let's not take away the win from Brian. Brian with the muscle. Brian icing his veins. Mr. Tapeworm. Icing his tapeworm veins. Every time the dog is slurping up some water. Sammy. Every time. But yeah, Brian, when he needs to win, the guy wins. This is the dark horse. This is the dark horse of the playoffs, potentially. There's still some work that needs to be done. There is one spot that is being fought for. And that's coming up this next week. Which brings me to this next week. We've got Eric and Brian fighting for a playoff spot. Eddie and Paul are fighting. Don't think I've forgotten. Someone else is getting that toilet bowl. We have Eddie and Paul fighting for the toilet bowl. Who's gonna get it? So everybody's playing for something. You're either playing for a spot in the playoffs, or you're playing for seeding position, first round bye, or not getting the toilet bowl. Honestly, the only person that really probably doesn't care too much this week is Mr. Organic. You've made the playoffs. In my eyes, I know I said I wasn't going to do power rankings, but I'll do like a really quick power rankings. I'd say Drake Campbell, 1. Austin, 2. Me a close 3rd. Mr. Organic, 4th. Whitney, Eric, Brian. So in my and you can't predict who's gonna go off in the first week of playoffs. But if I'm Mr. Organic, I'm wanting to play. So if we come down here, so Mr. If the playoffs ended right now, it would be Drake Campbell versus Brian, Mr. Organic versus Whitney. So Mr. Organic, if you lose, and Brian wins, you drop down the 6th seed, and then you play either Dre Campbell or I. Because if Dre Campbell loses, or Whitney, one of those three. But if it was me, I would rather play. I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I guess the bottom line is what I'm getting at is Mr. Organic, the seeding is kind of out of your control. You're making playoffs. You're not fighting for a first round bye. This is honestly a bye week for you. So if it were me, I would be loading up on good matchups for week 15. I'd be looking at, because you need to tight end now, I'd be looking at who has a good matchup week 15. And possibly even looking at defenses for week 15. This next week, it's just kind of a bonus week. It's just kind of for you to gauge on how your team is doing and to look at, okay, who's hot and who's not right now. That's just my opinion. But honestly, like, other than Mr. Organic, everyone is playing for something. Stupid mouse. I'm playing for first round bye. Austin is playing for, so Austin, there is a chance for Austin to drop all the way down to 3. If Nate, and I guess Nate's kind of the only other one that's not really playing for anything, because you've secured 8th place. You can't move anywhere. The only thing Nate could be playing for is to ruin Austin's playoff chances. And if you beat him, I win, and Mr. Organic wins. Or no, I'm sorry, not Mr. Organic. Dre Campbell, if he wins, then Austin drops down to 3. So there's a chance for you to affect, like, you're out of it. I wouldn't blame you if you're just like, screw this year, I'm on to next year. I don't even care about setting my lineup. I hope you set up your lineup. I hope you're like thinking about it a little bit more than just like, who cares? Because honestly, it's fun. Like, you've got nothing to lose. Go for broke. Go put in those upside players and see if you can run someone's playoff the playoff seeding. And that's coming from a biased person that wants to secure their first round bye. Well, honestly, things are in my hands. The biggest, I would say, seeding, yes, is important because first round bye is huge. It could be the difference between you being out first round and you going to the championship and winning it all. Ultimately, this is a very, very important week for Eric and Brian. If Eric loses, Eric goes home. But Eric's also relying on Brian to lose. He is a game behind. Eric has him in points, but he is a game behind. So he's relying on Brian to lose, Eddie to win. Eddie's playing for not to get the toilet bowl. Oh, we got Mr. Organic here, just putting everyone. You don't get. We got a little bit of collusion. Are these mind games? I don't know. This would honestly not be a very smart setup here. Because you could be going to the last. Because, okay, so if you're the 6th seed, you win week. I don't know. I guess it's up to you. I mean, I don't know how this league wants to operate, but Miss Organic, if you want. So say, I mean, if you do a big old fat goose egg, you say, I'm benching everybody. I don't know if this just happened or not, but let's say you say, goose egg, I don't want any points. I want that 6th seed. What happens is you play 3. If you win, then you play 1, because 1 plays the lowest seed. 6 is going to be the lowest no matter what. So let's say Brian wins, then you... there's a bunch of different scenarios. Let's say Brian wins, You goose egg, you lose. You go down to the 6th seed, you play 3, you beat them. Then you play Austin. Or if you feel more comfortable playing me, you set your lineup. You take that 5th seed. You hope whoever the 6th seed is wins. And then they play Austin, and then you play me. A little rematch. But I don't know. We're going down a rabbit hole. This is also a week of buys. So we've got a big matchup here too. We've got Miss Whitney versus Dre Campbell. Dre Campbell relying on all of his Detroit. We'll probably know. Like, you don't win or lose on Thursday, but you definitely see where you're heading. And we've got 3 players here playing for Detroit in his lineup. But it's by Apocalypse. It is by... I don't know what the NFL is doing. Like, NFL has to know, like, oh, we're putting Cooper Kupp on the bench, too. Interesting. Very interesting. By Apocalypse, like, you gotta know. And of course, there's another Detroit. That's funny. You gotta know fantasy football is a huge part of your revenue and your audience. And why are you, like, this is the last week of the regular season. Why are you having buys so late in the season? I don't get it, but whatever. What do I know? So this next week, really huge with seeding. There's a lot of different scenarios. I mean, really quickly, Austin's just hoping to win. If Austin wins, guarantees himself a first round bye. Same with me. If Austin loses, then he's hoping either I lose or Dre Campbell lose, or even both. He's probably hoping everybody loses because he's a monster. No, not really, but if I lose, I'm hoping that Dre Campbell loses. I don't think I'm catching Austin in points unless Austin team shits the bed. Austin winning 6 straight. Austin's now the hottest team after Whitney lost, finally, after winning 8 straight, I believe. But Mr. Dre Campbell is hoping for either Austin or I to lose, or both of us to lose and him to win. And then obviously if he wins, like, Whitney loses. Whitney's hoping to win, obviously. And then, I mean, there's no chance Whitney's going to get a first round. This is honestly probably a week, an off week for Whitney. But if Whitney wins, she's playing the sixth seed, who ideally is probably going to be a better matchup, in my opinion, than Dre Campbell. No, I'm sorry, Mr. Organic. But it'll be interesting. This is a big week. It's a big week that can determine a lot. We got Thursday matchup. It's actually a really good Thursday night game. Detroit and the Packers. That's a pretty exciting game. We've got... I'm just excited. I'm excited, a little nervous, but mostly excited. I just can't wait for the playoffs. Oh, and I'm sitting here going through everything. How embarrassing. We're rolling with it. I had an idea. After the end of the last podcast. I think we should do a little wager, a little over-under on champion. We could do, so I just did like a quick draw up of, I'm kind of curious like how the math would kind of work out. Maybe I'll set something up. But let's say, like I said, I've got my power rankings. I've got Dre Campbell, Austin, myself. Whitney and Dre's toss up. If Dre had CMC, I might even have Dre too. Mr. Organic. But with no CMC, maybe I'm going to put Whitney 4. Dre 5. And then that 6 seed. Could be Brian, could be Eric. But Dre Campbell, I'd say 3-1 odds. 3-1 odds of winning the championship. I got Austin at a 7-2 odds. Me 4-1 odds. Whitney 5-1. Dre 5-1. And then that 6 seed, we'll do 10-1. So why not throw some bets on this? If anybody's game, let me know. But we I think we throw some money at the house and see who could possibly win. I don't know. I thought it was an idea. Interesting idea. But good luck to everybody this week. Next week will be, I'm either going to be very happy or I'm going to be a salty MF. We'll see. Either way, we got playoffs coming up. Super stoked. I hope everybody has a good week. Except for Dre Campbell and Austin. Wouldn't mind if you guys lost. Yeah, hope you guys have a good week. Peace out.